Today's Sunshine Note is titled, No Preparation Needed. Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. Numbers 20:11. It worked out really well the first time. An elder in the small island church came to me only 20 minutes before the church service to say they had no preacher that day and would I mind giving the sermon. I was 19 and it was my first month as an excited young missionary. So naturally I said yes, even though I had no time to prepare at all. God would come through for me, wouldn't he? Well, he did. I stood up in front of the people with nothing, and a half hour later an entire logical, sensible sermon had flowed from my mouth. I was amazed and delighted. No preparation is needed. Let the Spirit move. So the next time I was asked to preach back at home, I decided to try the same tactic. I didn't prepare a thing. I didn't study and I didn't worry. I expected to stand up in that pulpit and have the Lord bring me a sermon the way he did the last time I was asked to speak. But when I got up in front, nothing came. I looked like a fool. Why didn't it work the second time? I bet Moses was wondering the same exact thing at Kadesh in the desert of Zin. It was the second time the entire Israelite community had run out of water, and they were grumbling as always. The first time it happened, God had commanded Moses to strike a rock with his staff, and fresh water flowed out. But this time, God told Moses to speak to the rock. Why come up with this whole speech when he could just hit the thing the way he did last time and have instant water? Moses thought he already knew how to get water, and besides, he was mad. He fell back on his old mythology instead of doing what God had asked. The water came, but because Moses defied God and did things his own way, he never got to see the promised land. I always thought this punishment was kind of harsh, until I learned that the rock represented Jesus, and the striking of it represented his death on the cross. Jesus died for all, for every person who ever lived. There was no need to strike the rock a second time. He doesn't need to die again every time we sin. When we sin, we need only to speak to him, as Moses should have spoken to the second rock. If you know there are changes you need to make in your life, don't assume your old lazy ways are good enough. Make those changes today. May God bless you today.